This is a follow-up. This is a follow-up from last night's video about protesters can go to hell, and it's also a driving video for KK. I didn't want to come off like the biggest badass and anybody's ever the biggest badass anybody's ever going to come across, because I'm not. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't take a hell of a lot to change a situation. And I meant to mention it, but I didn't last night. It was I ran a cattle farm for a long time. I knew the owners for years, since I was a child, and long story short, Roger had died. Eve was a widow. She was late 70s when he died. She was a glamour girl. She was born in New Zealand. She went to school at the Royal Academy of Performing Arts in London, became a ballerina. Fast forward, after World War II, she's on a television show in Palm Beach, Florida, where she met Roger. Roger's family was reasonably well-to-do. They had a bunch of tenements in a big section of New York City, an island off Brooklyn, which has since been filled in. They had a lot of money. They moved out to the country in the 20s and made moonshine during Prohibition, had contracts with the Army to provide eggs and peaches during World War II. The war ended, he retired in his, mid-30s, and bought a boat and sailed around for the next, 10, 15 years. When he was in Palm Beach, he met Eve, they fell in love, they got married, they came back up to New Jersey to the farm. Roger died. I started helping out around the farm, repairing things, loading cattle when needed to be done. Needed a place to live for about 6 months, and then I was moving west and wound up moving onto the farm, where I stayed for the next 20-something years until Eve died. I ran the farm for a lot of those years, and Eve and I were best friends. We were really best friends. She was just a super person. She was like, grandma, mom, best friend. But she'd want to go out when we'd have bonfires on the farm, and she would come out and she'd invite all her, geriatric girlfriends out, and they would all hang out with us, 20-somethings, 30-somethings, till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, drinking beer and playing guitars. She was one of us. She was great. But anyway, one day I was doing something on the farm, then I went in because she was British. We had a cup of tea and in the afternoon, and she had mentioned that she wanted to go out. So we went. I took her out to a restaurant in Easton, Pennsylvania that my brother owned, and she'd never been there, so we went, had a nice meal. I knew the police on the way home were vicious. They pulled over everybody. From about 9:30, 10 o'clock on, it was a shooting gallery. So I had nothing to drink with dinner. I had, Coca-Cola and water. So it's a nice restaurant. I'm wearing a sports jacket, slacks, button-down shirt. She's dressed like a movie star from the 50s with, mink coat on, and she's dressed to the nines. And we have a nice meal, see my brother, life is good, get in the car to go home. And there's one section of road called the Memorial Parkway in Phillipsburg, where they stop everybody and give them a sobriety test. I get pulled over. And no reason to get nasty with the cop, so I get out of the car. He says, Have you been drinking? No, I haven't been drinking. Where are you coming from? Coming from dinner. And you didn't have anything to drink? No, I didn't. Well, I got to give you a sobriety test. Okay, fine. I'm not going to start a fight with a cop with, 80-year-old lady in the car. To get out. He's got me on the side of the road. Class, touch your nose, whatever. And another cop pulls up. And it was just the typical police show of force. You're doing it our way because our way is the only way unless you want to get hurt. Eve gets out of the car. Mind you, she's, probably 5'8", probably weighs about 100 pounds. She's about 80 years old. She gets out and starts reading these cops the riot act. They don't know what. First they're telling her, get in the car. She's like, I will not get in the car. You guys are bullies. He didn't have anything to drink. Are you calling him a liar? She's just letting them have it, both barrels. When it's all said and done, the cops are apologizing. So sorry, ma'am. Something happened to the phone. It froze up again. And they're getting in their car apologizing and, hightailing it out of there. And that was a little old lady shutting down the whole police procedure. So you don't have to be some giant of a guy. You don't any of it. 80-year-old lady can shut down the police. Anybody can. And if you're not willing to do that, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, that's my story. And remember, if a 100-pound, 80-year-old lady can shut down the police, I'm sure every single person that sees this can too. Take care.